quarterback.
Oh, there's a goal. At least I thought he was going to until he blew it.
Another thrilling edition of Thursday Night Football leaves fans passed out on their couches as the Legion of Highlighters suffocates a near-dead Cardinal offense that can't be resuscitated by poor Larry Fitzgerald. Seattle continues to keep pace with the Rams and all goes according as planned, right? Alright, who turned up the injury sliders to big-name players? I want names, goddammit! A game that surprisingly stuck to the script for both teams. The Titans looking incredibly unimpressive. Bleh. Vontaze Burfict getting ejected for bumping into an official. Next, you're going to tell me that we have to go to the bathroom. The Bengals blowing the game on the final drive thanks to terrible defensive support. I'm not faced. This is decaf for the Bungles. Wake me up when they collapse in some spectacular fashion or make some goddamn changes. The Lions are in an unfortunate situation with this game. If they lose, we all laugh at Detroit and their futility. If they win, we scoff it off by saying it's against Cleveland and not a worthy opponent. It was a bit of a tougher game, but Detroit ended up embarrassing that D of the Browns again, so meh. Cleveland have more sadness with yet another injury. This was one of the most embarrassing football games I have seen in a while. Both teams were desperate to completely piss the game away by any means necessary. Incompetent officiating, incompetent coaching and play calling, total incompetence by Blake Bortles when it mattered. Marquise Lee and AJ Boye decided to be fucking idiots and get taunting penalties. Even Rivers got into the mix with a terrible pick in overtime. And look who Jacksonville's kicker is. The guy the Chargers cut to save a few bucks. It's gonna happen again, isn't it?
Lambeau's kick partially deflected, and it still goes through! Against his former team! The Jaguars beat the Chargers!
Fuck you, Spanos! Fuck you!
So what was this game? Not only did Fitzception get revenge on the Jets for that holdout last year by doing dismally, but the Buccaneers won the game by field goals? You know when it shines brightly but you get struck by lightning anyway? That is this Jets season in a nutshell. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, survives yet another week before underachieving their way out of a postseason spot. On a rainy, miserable Soldier Field, the Bears chose to emulate the field conditions perfectly. Not by anything the players did, oh no. It was because of good old John Fox and his merry band of dimwits. They decided to challenge the spot of the ball on a first and goal for the Bears. Little did they know the ball was actually fumbled and it was ruled a touchback, all but costing them the game in the long run. The Packers didn't totally shit it and snagged away victory from the basement dweller. John Fox becomes a prime contender for Lolcow of the Week, and I will probably see him on the unemployment line at the end of the year as he is replaced by more McCaskey goodness. Green Bay, you also win another injury. Pittsburgh got really fucking lucky. Once again, a real team would have taken out their pathetic excuse of a performance at least 10 times over. Fortunately, they are playing a garbage organization in the Colts, whom chose to hand them the game by bending over backwards in the final quarter of play. I would bitch about the Steelers for underachieving again, but the Colts are even more damning, especially with that pathetic fuck of a legacy owner's remarks on Andrew Luck's injury. Hate to say it, Colts fans, but you deserve this ineptitude. Pagano is a total hack, and he should have been fired along with that piece of shit Gregson. But what do I know? Steelers be rewarded with a season-ending injury to Joe Hayden, because fuck life. This is the part of the season where any hope the Bills may have had completely dies in an ember of mediocrity. In fact, that word may be a bit too generous for them this week. They allowed the Saints to beat them to oblivion in their house by means of the running game and the Great Wall of New Orleans. Our old buddy Tyrod, less than 60 yards passing and totally abysmal. The most offensive thing they did was a fan streaking on the field. The Saints beat them so badly that the city is accepting donations for more liquor. It is a beautiful day. Teddy Bridgewater is cleared to dress for games again. Too bad they don't really need him due to Case Keenum shaking off the Jeff Fisher cobwebs and turning into a dynamite gunslinger as of late. The man made the Redskins secondary look almost as bad as Dan Snyder, and Kirk Cousins couldn't keep up with his pace. Now imagine saying that at the beginning of the season. We must have slipped into an alternate timeline. Take a season-ending injury to your starting running back, Washington. It will return us to normalcy. What should have been an interesting matchup between two emerging QBs in the league was robbed of us thanks to injury. As consolation, we ended up getting yet another blowout because Houston is too injured to do anything on either side of the ball anymore. Instead, we get Tom Savage. This is a good analogy to the NFL as of late. Instead of the hype and excitement we were hoping for, the league tears its ACL and we are stuck with a sub-replacement level product. This isn't embarrassing anymore. And just got even more embarrassing. Dallas bad news. Turns out the 5th season of Ezekiel versus the NFL was cancelled prematurely thanks to his emergency injunction being blocked. He is now forced to begin serving his 6-game suspension in the middle of a crucial stretch for the Cowboys. Also, your offensive line god Tyron Smith is disabled for repairs. Instead of an interesting game, we get yet another blowout against the Falcons because Dallas's flaws are oozing with pus. Like the Texans-Rams game, Atlanta just toyed with them. It wasn't even close. You know what a game like this needs? More injuries. Although the Sean Lee one was long overdue. I would say the Giants have hit rock bottom, but they find ways to go lower and lower down the well. They lost in convincing fashion to a 49ers team that is going full speed in the tank. As a Niners fan, I'd be livid at New York for fucking everything up and forcing them to win the toilet bowl. Ben McAdoo has all but lost the team with his bumbling and ineptitude. When players are anonymously going to the press to call you out for bullshit, you're done in capital letters. And it turns out he's not getting fired anytime soon because loyalty and tanking. This team isn't just derping, they're totally hopeless. Remember when games between these two teams used to be good? Yep, I'm yearning for those games pretty fondly. Once again, not even a contest, as New England did typical Patriot things and deflated any sense of hope that Miles Stadium may have had, especially on special teams. And hey look, Martellus Bennett is back as a Patriot and suddenly playing after almost being out for the year. Green Bay probably fucked him over anyway. This looks lopsided, but maybe Carolina will play down to their competition again. Nah, the Panthers imitated Japanese fishermen and this game was yet another blowout. Something obviously quite foreign as of late. Flipper can't save you from the utter annihilation of your species tonight, Miami. Let's get our minds off of terrible football for once. Here's some juicy drama brewing. Jerry Jones is attempting to gain favor among NFL fans and is trying to block Roger Goodell's extension. And I grabbed the popcorn while owners tried to depose him for being Jerry Jones. I mean, the Ginger's tenure has been a disaster, but let's look at his alleged terms. They can't be that bad.
Swaller moving away, keeping his eyes downfield, and then has to sling it out of bounds.